forgotten, hopeless, impoverished, marginalized. These are a few of the words that have been used to describe our community in Southeast DeKalb. These words come to mind when we focus on the sad reports and the disheartening news stories that we hear about our community every single day. And many write us off as having no redeeming value. And to be sure, we must not be blinded by our heart for this community that we fail to look at a very difficult reality. The numbers are staggering, and the evidence of the pain and the hopelessness many of our families feel is all around us. According to the Census Bureau data and other national data reporting agencies, 46% of our children live in poverty. 34% of the students in our community never graduate from high school because of dropout rates. We have an unemployment rate of 19% in our community in comparison to a rate of only 3.6% nationally. 40,000 neighbors and residents in our community live at or below the national poverty line. There are no emergency shelters for neighbors who must sleep on the street or turn to extended stay motels in our community. And many of our neighbors live in single-parent households, or they are senior citizens raising their grandchildren and on the brink of homelessness themselves. The violent crime rate in Lower South DeKalb is 1.5 times higher than it is in many other neighborhoods and communities throughout the metro Atlanta area. The income level on Candler Road and Panthersville corridor is lower than 82% of U.S. neighborhoods, and that number is even higher when you consider it among poorly educated and marginalized individuals in Black and brown communities. The home ownership rate is only 39% in Panthersville, while the rental rate is over 60% in the Panthersville area. When you hear these numbers and when you look at this reality, it is easy, and I would even say natural, to give up hope. It is easy to push our community to the outskirts of your mind and resign yourself to the thought that there is simply no viable path from the dark challenges that we face. But if you do that, you will miss out on the greatest opportunity to see the wonderful story that God is still writing for this community. If you lose sight of hope for this community, you will miss out on seeing the grander vision that God has for us. And not just for us, but for hurting and displaced and under-resourced people in any community. So, what if? What if neighborhood pride and community dignity was possible right here, right now, right in the midst of our community, where we live, where we work, where we can build a life together? What if God is calling us to dream bigger, to have more hope than we've ever had before? Well, I'm standing right in the middle of hope. This is what hope looks like. It's the small things that you do that make the large differences in people's lives. It's giving someone a food box who is in need of it, or helping someone with clothes who don't have it, or maybe pulling someone from a homeless shelter or an extended stay hotel and getting them into stable housing. But it's more than just that. It's reaching down and picking up our brothers and our sisters, not by their bootstraps, but by their arms and by their shoulders, and raising them to a higher level of dignity. This is what God is calling us to do. We can see affordable housing in our communities. We can see workforce development in our communities. We can see educational advancement for our children, early childhood development, all the way through to college. We can see dignity restored, economic growth and development given. We can see this community thrive. The prosperity that exists in so many other places can also exist right here, right now, where we are. All we need is the power to dream, and to not dream alone. God can do wonders when people dare to dream. So much exists in the African American community because people were willing to dream. We are able to attend colleges and universities of our choice. We have been given the basic national right to vote because men like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and C.T. Vivian and Medgar Evers were willing to dream. We have the ability right here in our own community to attend historically black colleges and universities that have been underwritten and started by African Americans who were formerly slaves, because men like W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington were willing to dream. We have a church and a thriving institution called New Life because a small band of Christians were willing to dream. Standing in a parking lot 28 years ago, willing to dream that God was doing something special and something different, and that He was moving, and His will was greater than our current circumstances. If you dream, if you are able to see beyond your current realities, beyond your current circumstances, if you can dream beyond what you see today, this community can change. Dignity can come back to South DeKalb. There can be a sense of economic growth, and opportunities for prosperity can come back to Southeast DeKalb because people were willing to dream, to roll up their sleeves and work, to invest and reinvest in our community, because you're not investing in a community, you're investing in people, in destinies, in futures. You're investing in hope. And when you believe, when you dream, when you hope, amazing things happen. God wants to write a better, greater story for South DeKalb. And I'm praying that you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself. Be a part, not my dream, not just your dream, but God's dream. It's God's story.